He's eating them. Yeah, it's mine. Well, people, so I went and did a bit of weed spraying this morning. I want to check the other filter that's in this thing. Apparently there's one in the handle, but when I took it apart, like your spray handle there, in the end part there, where the end hose hooks on, but when I took it apart I couldn't see it. And quite honestly, the thing keeps stopping all the time. Like sort of, starts up and then stops and all that sort of stuff. And I've cleaned out the end, and now I find that end does actually damn well turn, this end here. And you want a nice fine misting spray, bzz, 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 just sits there, on, off, on, off, on, off. By the time you get it to run continuously, it's not fine and misting at all. So, I don't know if the old pump's running out of go or there's other blockages, and I've stuffed around and tried to clear lines and that, but I reckon there's another blockage. It may actually be in the intake in that. But anyway, I just got that on the charge at the moment. I've got to finish charging the DeWalt up as well. Now the sun's coming out. But yeah, I went and had a go at getting stuck into the wood heater. If I go to show you, you probably wouldn't see it inside, but there's the bit of the back is bulged right out. And I don't know if it's from burning pine or what the heck it is. But either way, it's turned to shit. And it's hard to fit big logs in when you've got this big bulging piece out the back. So I've decided to cut that piece off and use the fireproof cement that's used for fixing up wood heaters. Putting a bit of that in there. Now, using the little cordless 3-inch angle grinder, yeah, it takes a while. You see the hot plate there? That's plate steel. That's 1/2 inch thick. I cut that with a 9-inch angle grinder. Now look at this here. That's about 1/4 inch plate steel cut with a 3-inch angle grinder. A cordless 3-inch angle grinder. It takes a while. I've gone through about a battery and a half to achieve getting one side of the bulge off. It's going to put a split down the middle from top to bottom and then bulged out at the top on either side of the split. So I've just got one side of it off today. And I've got to recharge a few batteries before I'm going to realistically get the third side off, so I might as well recharge those batteries and have a go at that tomorrow, or the day after, or whatever. But anyways, yeah, I might go out and keep playing with box sawn and drills and whatnot, but I've got to go to the little Christmas function later on this afternoon, and I'm so glad that it's still very cool in the mornings. It's surprisingly cool. It's almost time to put a jumper on, like a sweater on. That's how cool it is in the mornings. But being so cool, the pores of the box thorn are open and willing to absorb the spray. So long as I get up early enough, and I've got such a thing as an alarm clock in, well, both my phones and an actual real alarm clock as well, and I tend to wake up pretty early anyway. As long as I get up early, I can get a heap of spray onto those box thorns and they'll absorb it and they'll die, regardless of the fact that during the day it's too hot to do it because it's cool enough in the morning. Just so long as you get out there half an hour after dawn or something like that, you can get your 20 litres of spray it without a problem. And I counted up my containers today and I still have basically 18 litres left, which will do about 180 litres worth of spray out of this thing here, which, well, there's 1,000 litres in an IBC, so that gives you an idea. But anyways, yeah. I'm just cooking a bit of lunch here. You can probably hear the stove in the background. Now, these are the plums off my tree that's, well, just out there past the washing drying on the clothes horse in the veranda. It's an older tree and they're sort of smaller than the ones I showed a few minutes ago there. That was actually my parents' tree. It is only a young tree and it is absolutely loaded to the point of non-belief. The video doesn't do it justice. It actually looks like there's about twice the amount that you can see in the video. But anyway, that's their tree. They've got a lot of them, and they've actually got 2 trees, and one tree's got heaps on it. And they're bigger because the trees are younger. And these are ones off my trees. Now, what are these? What are these ones? Different colour, purple. They're those other small trees that I put a little fence around that's sort of out the back of the bathroom. And my uncle just must have had a packet and they went rotten and he threw them out there, and there's half a dozen. 2 of them are still out with the sheep, and I think there's about 4 that are inside, and 3 of those 4 are productive. And these look very ripe, but they're actually not really ripe. But it's good to see that the 3 trees that are productive are actually popping out quite a lot of plums, with no watering, with very hot sun and not a great deal of shade, and they're banging out plums that are bigger than my main tree plums. And they're different type too. These are the ones that are sort of like a more white inside or whatever, green. They're sort of a bit firmer, and they're definitely larger, as you could quite obviously see there. But yeah, I'm glad that those have finally come out and they're protected from the sheep, even though the birds are getting the odd 1 or 2. And, you know, if I get a bit of RHS and get it welded together in sometime in 2015, then I may actually set up a complete netting system over the top of them, so I actually get to keep more than I am keeping at the moment, which isn't a great deal because the birds are getting a lot of them before they're ripe. But it's hard to believe that they get full colour, but they're not sort of completely quite ripe, even though they're a very dark colour. So I'm hoping to leave the ones on the tree a little bit longer, but I'm a bit fearful the birds might get them all if I don't, so it might not be a stupid idea to pick them before long and then sort of stick them in the fridge and hope they sort of ripen on their own once they're picked. See what this one's like. Yeah. You get your sort of greenish flesh there. It's still a bit firm. It's too firm, really. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you the difference between the 2 kinds I've got. Well, I got a little Diddums here that was just thought he could play Let's Stand Really Still and no one will notice us. But it didn't really work like that. And then as I was bringing him up to the house, he was just playing dead and went all floppy on me. And then I put him in here and he started hissing at me. This is a blue-tongued lizard. This is like the one I saw. Oh, the rock off there. Oh, geez, he's hissing now. Usually they don't really hiss at you, but this is like the one I saw with Troy in Coffs Harbour that time. And I referred to it as magpie food, but in all honesty, these are probably some of the easiest caught lizards you can imagine. And if you were hard up in a survival situation, there's probably not a great deal of grand meat, but it's better than no meat at all. And if you really needed that protein, well, these things seriously, they don't move that fast at all, and it wouldn't be too hard to get. He's got a funny coloured tongue. Now some of these have got a real rough skin, and they refer to them as a shingleback, and their tail will also be stubby, and sometimes they'll also call them stubby tails, which is what we used to call them in Western Australia as a kid, the ones with the short tails, but he's got a pointed tail. But they're sort of related, and some of them, there's a handful of them that sort of have red tongues, but a lot of them have blue tongues, and he'll be hissing, and he, whoa, usually you don't hear him hiss like this, but they got small teeth, but if he gets me finger, by hell, I will know about it, because I experienced that as a kid. If I get him to open his mouth without getting bitten here, you'll see his blue tongue. Come on, hissy. Come on. Stop hissing. I'll do whatever you want. Just show me your tongue. When you pick him up, there he goes, the blue tongue. You got to get him behind the head, otherwise they'll come around and they'll bite you. Geez, they never usually hiss like this. He's a bit lethargic. I don't know if it's just blooming a bit too cool for him or what, but oh yeah. There you go, there's the blue tongue there, and you spin around in my hand like an idiot, so I'll put him in and let him do what he wants. I don't really want to hurt him as he's trying to struggle against me there. But anyway, they're sort of very wide and sort of reasonably flat. A lot of them are just sort of like a real dark green, almost like his tail. But this one's got bits of brown in it and sort of lighter colours, which you don't usually see. Well, not as a kid anyway, in WA, because almost all of them in WA that were in my area were shinglebacks. But he's not poisonous. I mean, there's only something like 2 lizards in the world that are poisonous, and of course I think we've got one of them, and the other one's in Africa or something, but I think you get a good look at the blue tongue there anyway. Oh, buddy. Bit more blue tongue, don't bite me phone. I mean, he's a bit lethargic compared to most of them, but might realise that fighting is futile against something that's so big compared to him. Hey, buddy? Oh, well, there we go. Here we have the ever-present Barlame. With his ears going back and forwards. What do you reckon, Diddums? You got a dirty snoz, haven't you, hey? She had a bit of a shear. Now she can enjoy the summer heat without baking to death, because the wool's only probably about half an inch deep now. Isn't that right? Ignore me then. See what your lamb has to say. Lamb's bailing out. There's this. I've just eaten a few plums, and I had a look at the fig tree here. On the end of each one, there's 2 or 3 little baby figs. Every flaming one of them. I've got some bigger figs. Ones like this. There's another one. There, it's bruised to bears. And they're there. But I think all of these, the birds are going to get to these bigger ones before I get back. But God blimey, there's a lot of figs. First year after I trimmed all this back, it was more or less stunted, and then the next year it got a few figs, and now it's just absolutely overloaded. Every single ending has at least 3 figs. Sometimes 2, sometimes 4. Unbelievable.